One can learn a lot about an anime character by studying how they respond to deeply traumatic situations. In addition to adding drama, alarming plot lines can expose viewers to aspects of their favorite characters that aren't usually on display. By paying close attention, one can gain valuable insight into who a character is and why they behave the way that they do. 1. Hayato Shinkai quits biking after he accidentally kills a rabbit. The trauma experienced by Hayato Shinkai of Yowamushi pedal might seem trivial to some, but it clearly affects him deeply. During a particularly heated race, Hayato is so focused on winning that he inadvertently runs over and kills a rabbit, orphaning its baby. Hayato feels so guilty that he immediately adopts the baby rabbit. Even after the young bun is safe in its new home, Hayato is unable to cut past other bikers during races, as this was the reckless maneuver that caused the accident. Whenever he tries to break ahead, he becomes panicky and experiences flashbacks. 2. Shino Asada killed a bank robber when she was a child. Sword Art Online 2's Shino Asada, aka Sennon, started playing a virtual reality game called Gun Gale Online as a form of immersion therapy. When she was a little girl, Shino found herself involved in a bank heist that ended with her shooting the robber in self-defense. Ever since she was forced to kill a man, Shino has experienced nightmares, flashbacks, and other symptoms of PTSD. Playing a video game that lets her use a gun in relative safety allows Shino to gain mastery over the event that traumatized her. Unfortunately, what Shino is doing isn't exactly prescribed, and she actually ends up putting herself in danger when the game becomes enmeshed with reality. 3. Himura Kenshin will never kill again. Himura Kenshin was once known as Himura Badasai, the legendary assassin. However, by the time Rurouni Kenshin begins, the warrior has left his days of violence behind him. Kenshin vows to never take another life, and wants desperately live in peace. Additionally, he believes that anyone who he wronged while he was an assassin has the right to exact their revenge. His self-esteem is basically non-existent, and he doesn't think that he has any right to happiness. 4. A childhood of abuse leaves Shoto Todoroki unwilling to use his full power. For a shonen anime, My Hero Academia features a surprising lack of tragic backstories. That said, some characters still show signs of having experienced serious trauma. One such character is Shoto Todoroki, a student at a school for would-be heroes. Shoto's birth was the result of his father Endeavor's attempts to combine his fire quirk, the in-universe term for power, with his wife's ice quirk. Unfortunately, Endeavor only cares about his son's abilities, not his well-being. Endeavor begins beating Shoto when he is 5 years old, and claims that abuse will make the boy stronger. He also beats his wife, who is so traumatized by her husband that she decides to pour boiling water on Shoto's eye, scarring him for life. Shoto grew up despising his father, and once swore to only use the ice powers he inherited from his mother. By letting his fire powers lay dormant, Shoto is forced to operate at half strength. In order to achieve his full potential, he needs to learn to view his flame powers as more than just an extension of his father. 5. The government experimented on Naotomori's brother, prompting her to help others avoid the same fate. Naotomori's mission in life is to ensure that nobody else experiences the horrors her older brother Kazuki was once subjected to. Like many of the characters in Charlotte, Kazuki was born with a special ability. He could cause vibrations in the air around him, which made him a prime target for unscrupulous scientists. Kazuki was the subject of a series of experiments that left him a shell of his former self. Once testing had ended, Kazuki could do little more than lay in a hospital bed, sans the occasional violent meltdown. After watching her brother shrivel, Nao is determined to help others keep their powers a secret from those who would take advantage of them. 6. Saya Yagami's older brother is a serial killer who gets her kidnapped. Death Note's Saya Yagami starts off as a normal, happy teenager, but all that changes when her brother begins playing the part of vigilante mass murderer. To make matters worse, her brother's criminal activity winds up getting her kidnapped. While viewers aren't shown exactly what happens to Sayu, while she is held hostage by Mello and his underlings, she returns from captivity mute and unable to walk. The last time Sayu appears on screen, her mother is pushing her around a park in a wheelchair, and she's staring into space with a haunted look in her eyes. 7. Nearly being crushed by rocks is only the first trauma experienced by Obito Uchiha. No matter what side they fight for, nearly every character in Naruto is traumatized in some way. Considering the world of the show is in a constant state of warfare, it would be unrealistic to expect anything else. Of all the show's damaged cast members, Obito Uchiha is one of the most frequently misunderstood villains. Obito starts off as a boisterous young boy with big dreams of becoming a great ninja. After a terrible accident leaves half of his body crushed, his horrific undead relative Madara brings him to an underground bunker, where he replaces the child's destroyed body with humanoid plant matter. While Obito is recovering from his injuries, Madara tries to convince him that the world is an irredeemable hellscape that needs to be destroyed. Despite his vulnerable state, Obito isn't swayed by Madara's argument. However, when he re-enters the outside world, he is greeted by the sight of one of his best friends murdering the other. Driven mad with grief, the formerly happy kid becomes one of the series' main villains, and aids Madara on his quest to destroy the world. As it turns out, Madara deliberately set up the battle to convince Obito that the world was irredeemable. 8. Kusai Arima's mother tried to live vicariously through her son's piano skills. Kusai Arima of Your Lie in April starts the series off with a major problem. He's a pianist who can no longer hear his own music. Before a terminal illness left her unable to play, Kusai's mother was also a famous pianist. She decided to teach her son how to play piano, but her methods were so strict and severe that the young boy found the lessons to be torturous. At one point, things get so tense that she actually hits him until she draws blood. Eventually, Kusai's mother dies, leaving him orphaned and unable to play the music that once brought him joy. Done.